let's talk about when you should end your campaign. Recently, I'm still in the middle of a hiatus in my Pathfinder campaign, and one of the other game masters has been running a campaign in the meantime. And after their session, I said, "Hey y'all, eventually once the Pathfinder campaign comes back, what level do you all want to end that at?" They're currently level 6. They all agreed to end at level 12. So for me, that was answered pretty quickly. When should I end that campaign, since we were all able to come up to an agreement? However, you and your group might not be able to come up with an agreement on when to end a campaign. Maybe there could be some players who are moving away or getting a new job or going to a different school, something like that, basically making it so they can no longer play in the campaign. It is up to that player to tell you in advance, but everyone, once that player moves away or, can no longer play, they might want to start a new campaign. There are typically 5 ways that a campaign comes to an end. The first one being the best, the best kind of way is you defeat the BBEG and find a narrative conclusion where you all decide, yeah, we're okay with leaving this campaign here and moving on to a different one or splitting up the group. The second one is less common now, but more common in the OSR space, which is reaching level 20 or reaching max level. Typically, this happens in campaigns where there isn't exactly a narrative structure, and it's more just go to XYZ and complete XYZ goal. Another semi-common way, but less common, is when both the players and Game Master come together and say, hey, we should start a new campaign because we don't think that this current campaign is going anywhere, and while it's less, no longer being able to play in that campaign. And unfortunately, there's nothing that you can really do to stop it. If you're a Game Master, I've already made a video about Game Master burnout, but if you're a Game Master, I recommend telling your players that, hey, I'm feeling burnt out, I want to do something different. And that really sucks because you're not able to bring that campaign to a narrative conclusion. I'm going to use a campaign structure / story structure that has been beaten to death while talking about this. I'm more of a DC person than a Marvel person, but I've still seen a fair amount of the MCU movies. Which, by the way, Batman Slow-Lo's Iron Man, no prep time. Most people that I've talked to agrees that the MCU should have ended at Endgame. I mean, it quite literally has end in the name, and the characters in that point had the abilities of gods, and 2 of your main heroes, Iron Man and Captain America, were either dead or no longer able to fight. This is especially bad for smaller groups, because imagine you're playing in a campaign with 3 players, and then all of a sudden one of your players is unable to play, and this is just going to lead to fizzling out. Most people would say that if the MCU was a D&D campaign, it is dragged on for way too long and is way past its prime, and I agree with that. So here are some tactics that I think that you can use to limit your campaign length. Number 1, just use communication. Typically in most DMGs or Player's Handbook, there will be a section on campaign lengths and campaign frames. For example, in the Pathfinder Game Master Core, wow, it looks like I'm holding it by its scruff, it's on page 65. The different lengths are one-shot, brief campaign, expended campaign, and epic campaign. A one-shot is, wow, voice crack. A one-shot is basically just a one-session adventure. Then there's a brief campaign, which is, typically 4 or 5 sessions. And then there's a epic campaign, which goes on to level 20. But I think just, during your session 0, sitting down with your players and saying, okay, everyone, I'm going to be running a expended campaign. It's probably going to go on for, hold on, let's see. Probably going to go on for 13 to 11 levels. It's probably going to be a 6-month long campaign of us playing weekly. And then if one of your players have to leave during that time, they might say something like this during the session 0. Just so you know, I'm going to be leaving and moving in 5 months, so can we prep the campaign around that? And as a game master, yeah, you can totally prep around that. Another thing that I've seen DMs use, and this is less common, is use one of these. These are originally health trackers for Magic the Gathering. However, you can find them dirt cheap, and they're basically just a scroll wheel. You see, it goes down over time. So yeah, I'll typically see DMs put these in card sleeves in their DM binder because, this wheel can get moved around a lot. A DM might be saying something like, okay, let's say that this campaign is going to be 35 sessions long. At the beginning of every campaign session, I'm going to tick down by 1, and then I'm going to show the group. Not only does this give everyone a good time frame of when the campaign is going to be ending, it will also make it so anyone who is seeing that time at the beginning of the session being in character, oh crap, my time with this group is limited, I should probably get stuff done ASAP. I don't know, that's just my opinions though. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye.